Hey guys, what is going on? This is Travis P11. I want to welcome you back to the channel, and today we're bringing you part 2 of the Makarov series. I posted a video a couple weeks ago. So what we have here is a Baikal brand, Russian manufacturer, commercial spec 9x18 Makarov pistol. And what I did was I just took it to the range. I ran some Sellier and Bellot ammunition through it. I ran some Red Army Standard ammunition through it to see what kind of accuracy I was able to pull off. Best group we could get was 2.5 inches. The gun itself, it fits very well in the hand, but it does sting quite a bit when you shoot it. And I just didn't feel like I could get a really good purchase on it. So we're going to now bring you the enhanced Makarov. So I want to talk about what I've done to this. And there's other YouTubers that have done this before. It's really not a big deal. Anybody can do this. I got about $125 worth of parts in this Makarov, okay? And so major changes that we made to it from Gun Parts Warehouse. We put a fixed rear sight on here, and the target sight that comes on the commercial model was okay, but you could physically move it with your hands, like it would jiggle, and so the windage, I just didn't feel like it was ever really truly zeroed. It seems like I had a lot of variety in my shots, and also the notch on the rear with that adjustable sight is very narrow, and so the Gun Parts Warehouse fixed rear sight gives you a much wider notch. Now, I did see a video on YouTube about this where a guy was complaining about the sight starting to move after a little while. I did put some blue Loctite on there. I'm hoping that holds it. I'll be checking it maybe every 3 rounds, 6 rounds to make sure that it's not moving. You don't really have any adjustability, so wherever this thing shoots is where it's going to shoot. It's just going to be that's it, okay? Other changes that we made, we put a brand new Wolf spring in there that's rated at 17 pounds, which is the factory spring weight, but it really surprised me just after running the action a couple times, just, you know, hand charging it and so on, how much tighter that spring is now. I'm hoping that doesn't cause any issues with failures to eject, failure to feed, and so on. I don't really know. The other major change that we made is we put the Fab Defense, I think it's like a PM-G grip is what they call it. These are $48. It adds a nice extended beaver tail, and it gives you a nice, much more aggressive texture than what you get with the factory Baikal grips, Makarov grips. I'm also hoping that this will mitigate not necessarily the recoil, but the sting that you feel through the rear of this gun, which goes right into the web of your hand every time you shoot it. It's just kind of the snappiness of the round. It's got a bit of a high bore axis. It just doesn't distribute the force very well through your hand when you shoot it. Now, it's not a big deal, but after about 100 rounds or so, you really start to feel it, and it was just a little bit uncomfortable. I also like the angle. It does feel the palm fill it up very well. You also have a lot more purchase area on the grip too. And the best feature, this is what I absolutely love about it. Here's get this in the camera for you. You've got the drop man. Now, by the way, there are rounds in the magazine, not to trigger anybody, but the chamber has been cleared prior to filming. So you just slide, magazines pop right out, okay? You don't have that heel release that you have to fiddle around with anymore. There is a bar of steel that physically connects to the heel release, and when you slide it, boom, it drops out the mag out of the bottom. So it gives it kind of a funky, kind of futuristic, kind of retro-futuristic look to it. I don't know. I like it. It feels great. I kind of wish it was more of a classic styling, but this is all about making this gun a lot more usable at the range, a lot more comfortable, and hopefully a little more accurate. Now, I am going to try rotating this in my daily carry. I've got a holster coming from Europe for it, a Kydex holster that's specially made just for the Makarov pistol, and we're going to see what happens. The trigger is great. There's a little bit of take up, and then there's a wall, and then there's a break. So you can get used to the trigger. Only real issue with this is that front sight is not painted. It's a little hard to pick up, but I'm hoping with a wider rear notch I can see it a little bit better. Now granted, once you get too wide of a rear notch on your rear sight, then you've got issues with trying to center it. So I'm trying to find this happy medium where this pistol is just going to be kind of fun to shoot and play around with, and also possibly put it through as the daily carry option. Ammunition for this test is going to be Hornady Critical Defense, and we're also going to run the Sellier and Bellot that I used in the last range test. I want to say it was a 93 or 95 grain full metal jacket round. Very snappy round, very powerful round, in my opinion. It felt like it had some force behind it compared to the Red Army Standard ammunition that we also used. We did not have the Critical Defense last time, so we're going to shoot it this time. I'm hoping the gun will cycle. I'm hoping it's going to function. Now, let's talk about the target real quick that we're going to shoot at. So this is the target that I'm going to use. I know this is basically a 100-yard precision target, but it really does give me a chance to kind of keep things consistent all the way through. So when we're shooting the Hornady, we're going to take the first 8 shots, a full magazine, right at the center. I'm going to line up my sights so they go right across here. All 8 rounds, we're just going to see what happens. I'm going to try to, I might have to adjust my stance a little bit, my point of impact a little bit, but it's just to make sure the gun's going to function and cycle. Then we'll do 3 rounds of Sellier and Bellot, 3 rounds of Hornady, 3 rounds of Hornady again, and then 3 rounds of Sellier and Bellot. So I'm going to get a chance to shoot at all 4 positions, high and low with both types of ammunition. 7 yards, and then we'll try to see what the best group is that we can pull off. So with the Red Army Standard ammunition, if I'm not mistaken, we pulled off a 2.5-inch group. I also got a 2.5-inch group when I was able to stage the trigger doing a true double action trigger pull. So it's just kind of fun to play around with. This is more of a curiosity thing to see what's going to happen once all the parts have been installed. Also, the magazine that I'm going to be using is a brand new Apex Gun Parts, new manufacturer, 8-round magazine, if I'm not mistaken. And that's got a very tight spring in it. So the combination of that and the recoil spring, there could be some malfunctions. I have no idea what's going to happen until we start shooting it. So the first 8 shots you see, those are going to be the first 8 shots since I've made all the changes. I mean, the sight could go flying off, the thing could jam. I have no clue what's going to happen. I'm pretty excited. So let's go ahead and get this to the range. We'll test it. I'll make sure at the top of the screen I put down what type of ammo I'm shooting at which point I'm on the target, and we'll go from there. And I don't really talk a whole lot during these videos anymore because there's other people on the firing line. And I mean, they can tell that I'm filming, obviously, but I don't want to distract them while they're trying to focus. So if I don't give you much commentary until afterwards, so be it. All right, let's go hit the range. Okay guys, I got some information for you here real quick. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first target that I started off with. This was the Hornady. We had a 3.5-inch group. It was shooting low and to the left. Now at this point you might be thinking that this is going to be hopeless because we have a fixed rear sight. I really can't do much with it except change my hold, sort of. So we'll see what happens here in just a little bit. So 3.5 inches, low and to the left, pretty consistent. Not on target obviously, but that was the Hornady. Now we got the Sellier and Bellot. I did shoot here's where I was aiming, point of aim, like literally halfway up the sight, point of impact, quite a ways away, but we did have a group that was 0.75 of an inch. Because it was shooting low and to the left, we only made contact with one target, or I'm sorry, with one round right here. And then the last section over here was actually nothing. This is one round connected right here. Up on the top, same situation, it's low and to the left, basically off the paper. After that, I decided to go ahead and shoot another target. So this was 3.5 inches using Sellier and Bellot. And as you can see, it's basically shooting all over the place, right? And it really does depend, just like any gun, how steady you hold it. I just don't know if I'm confident enough to rotate this in my carry just because it's so sensitive to shots, okay? With enough practice, and we had a flyer which pushes the group out to 5.5 inches, okay? Now, the final target, this was Sellier and Bellot again, 7 yards. This was off camera. Point of aim was here. Literally sights were halfway up the target. Point of impact, we did have a 3-inch spread at 7 yards. So it is grouping well. I just need to practice with it a bit more. I would say that my accuracy is I don't know, it's about the same as it was before. But in some follow-up comments here, I will just talk about the shooting experience with that Fab grip installed and also what was happening with that Apex magazine and the recoil spring. Okay, so we are home from the range, and let's just talk for a couple minutes about what we saw, what happened, and what I think about these upgrades. So first things first, the Wolf spring caused no issues whatsoever. So if you pick up one of these, I think that spring's like maybe 15 bucks, but do get yourself a 17-pound Wolf spring if you want to go with the original factory weight on it. That's definitely something that's not going to cause an issue. If you have this particular model, the commercial model with the adjustable rear sight, the fixed rear sight is nice, but I kind of feel like I'm kind of stuck in a low position for shooting with this, and so I don't know if I could put a shim underneath of it to adjust it. If your rear target sight is fine and it's holding 0, just don't upgrade it, just leave it as is. You know, unless you really want a wider notch. I mean, I like this, it's cool. It does have that one-handed charge capability now, and it doesn't move anymore, which is nice, but now I'm kind of locked, like I said, into about a 3 or 4 inch low shooting position. You know, make the upgrade if you want to, but I'll tell you what, the Fab Defense Grip, this is fantastic. I mean, I felt hardly no shock whatsoever through my hands when I fired it, no fatigue. It fits the hand great. This extended beaver tail is wonderful. I mean, I'm serious, it was just a joy to shoot. I could shoot this thing all day. It really is that good. Apex magazines, as you saw in the video, I had no slide locking back upon empty. And so I'm going to contact Apex and find out if that's just part of the design or if that's something that's just inherent to using it with the Russian Makarov, because these magazines are made for this pistol, and no matter what I did, it would not lock open on the final round. Whereas my original Russian magazine always would. And so we had no trouble with the other magazine. So I'm going to find out what's going on with this. It's not a big deal, but if you're not keeping track of your rounds, as you can see, I mean, I knew it wasn't locking back after the first mag, so that's why I just dry fired it to clear it. But that's something I'm going to contact Apex about. So if you get the Apex mags, you might have that issue. If you have Apex magazines for your Makarov and they do the same thing, please chime in below and let me know. I'm really kind of curious about that. Otherwise, just with a few changes that we made, I mean, definitely the spring is a good choice. The grip is a good choice. If your rear sight's okay, just don't bother changing it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It is a pain to take that old sight off, I'm not going to lie to you. But otherwise, yeah, now overall accuracy, we did have an improvement. My tightest group was 3/4 of an inch. Of course, it was low and to the left. I was still pretty much all over the place. You know, we're still shooting, you know, 2.5, 3.5, 4-inch groups with it. That last group that I did off camera with that human silhouette, 7 yards, that was, like I said, I think a 3 or 3.5 inch group. And that's when I finally feel like I was starting to figure out where it was at, where it was pointing, where it was going. A couple hundred rounds more, and I think I probably would be much more confident and comfortable with it. So to answer the question, is this going to be rotated in my daily carry? Yes and no. Yes, it will, once I get it to the point that I feel comfortable and I'm accurate enough while shooting it. No, not at this point. Doesn't mean I won't keep it around. Doesn't keep I won't make it maybe an extra travel gun or just kind of a range toy. Doesn't mean I won't just, you know, keep it as maybe another home gun or garage gun. But it is great. They're fun to play around with. They are going up in price. And so I think you should consider picking up one because they're not getting any cheaper as time goes on. But anyway, I think that's it. So this has been part 2 of the enhanced Baikal Makarov pistol. And we went through a lot of the changes that a lot of people tend to do these things when they buy them. And yeah, I mean, I do like it. It's definitely a lot more fun to shoot now, and I see myself taking it out more often. Critical defense, no problems at all feeding and loading. We had no FTEs, no FTFs, none of those problems whatsoever. And I think that new spring definitely helped out with that. Definitely tamed a lot of that recoil. I'm going to say that right now. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out the channel. I hope you learned something new today, and maybe showing off some of these enhancements to these guns. You wonder, what are they going to do? Are they going to make it better, make it worse? I feel like what I've done has made it better. I definitely know the targets are where they need to be now, but just, again, shooting low. So anyway, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. You can check me out on Gunstreamer. You can check me out on UGEtube, guntube.org, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those places. Please like and subscribe. But in the meantime, I want you all to have fun, be safe, have a wonderful week, and as you know, we will talk to you soon. All right, take care. Bye-bye.